Rome was not built in a day. You may have heard this phrase before. The world-dominating Roman Empire ended centuries ago, and its influence is still alive today. Its culture, its philosophy, its language, its architecture. Even now, the world continues to inherit Rome's legacy. Rome was the first true superpower in human history. It laid the foundation for the modern army. It introduced a structured senate to govern a vast empire. Its republic successfully functioned as a democracy for nearly 5 centuries. Many political terms we use today, republic, dictator, senate, veto, all originated from Roman politics. At its peak, 1 out of every 5 people on Earth was Roman. The kingdom, the republic, and the empire together ruled history for over 2,000 years. But how did Rome rise to such unimaginable power? And how did it eventually fall? Let's uncover the story, the birth of Rome. There are many legendary stories about the origin of Rome. One famous tale speaks of twin brothers, Romulus and Remus. They were abandoned as infants because they were believed to be illegitimate sons of Mars, the Roman god of war. Thrown into a river, left to die. But fate had other plans. They were discovered by a she-wolf, who raised them as her own children in the wild. Years later, the brothers settled near the Tiber River and built a city together. But soon, conflict arose. Power, control, leadership. The disagreement turned violent, and in that clash, Remus was killed. Romulus named the city after himself, Rome. Other legends also exist, but modern historians believe these stories were created later to give Rome a heroic origin. Archaeological evidence tells a different story. Rome was actually founded around 625 BCE. At first, it was no empire. It was only a small trading settlement by the Tiber River. This region was known as Etruria and Latium. People lived in scattered villages, and to protect themselves from enemies, they united. That unity became Rome, the Age of Kings. From 600 BCE to 510 BCE, Rome was ruled by kings. But here's what makes it strange. The kingship was not inherited, it was elected, chosen by the Senate. During this time, Rome had exactly 7 kings. The final ruler was Lucius Tarquinius Superbus, better known as Tarquinius the Proud. Historians describe him as a tyrant. Then something happened that changed Rome forever, the scandal that ended monarchy. His son was accused of raping a noblewoman, Lucretia. The news spread like fire through Rome. Crowds filled the streets. Nobles and citizens united. Revolts erupted. The Roman Republic begins. A new system of government was created. It was called the Senate. The Senate was divided into 2 groups. The patricians, wealthy and powerful families, and the plebeians, the working and middle class. Together, they elected 2 leaders, called consuls. But in reality, power stayed with the rich. The poor were controlled. Conflicts became inevitable. Rome begins to expand. As the Republic grew stronger, Rome began expanding. By 338 BCE, it controlled the entire Italian peninsula. But expansion brought war. In 390 BCE, Rome was invaded by the Gauls. The city was nearly destroyed, but Rome did not fall. Rome rebuilt. Under General Camillus, Rome conquered all of Italy. And soon, Rome looked beyond its homeland. The Punic Wars, between 264 and 146 BCE, Rome fought 3 massive wars. They were called the Punic Wars. Against a powerful enemy, Carthage, a wealthy city-state on Africa's northern coast near modern Tunisia. Rome emerged victorious. It seized Spain, Sicily, the Western Mediterranean, and defeated a legendary general, Hannibal. But the final war was brutal. In 146 BCE, Carthage was wiped off the map. The city was burned. Its people were slaughtered. 200,000 died. 500 survived, only to become slaves. After Carthage was destroyed, Rome looked east, toward Greece, toward Asia, toward the ancient kingdoms of the world. One by one, great civilizations fell. Macedonia, the homeland of Alexander the Great. 200 years after his death, it was still powerful, but not powerful enough. Rome defeated Macedonia, then Syria, then the wealthy cities of the East. Victory brought gold, land, slaves, but it also brought something far more dangerous: influence. By 100 BCE, Rome ruled the world. But inside the Republic, everything was falling apart. The rich grew richer. The poor lost land. Veterans returned home with nothing. Power became poison. Leaders who spoke for the poor were silenced. Bribes replaced law. Violence replaced debate. Rome was expanding outward, but collapsing inward. Then came Julius Caesar, 58 BCE. He marched north to conquer Gaul, modern France, Belgium, Germany, Switzerland. But Gaul would not bow. Dozens of tribes, one leader. Vercingetorix. War was declared. For 6 years, blood soaked the forests of Europe. Village after village fell. Tribe after tribe vanished. In 52 BCE, Caesar surrounded Alesia. Weeks passed. Food vanished. Hope died. Those who tried to escape were slaughtered. Rome won. Plutarch recorded 3 million fought. 1 million died. 1 million were enslaved. Gaul belonged to Rome. When Caesar returned to Rome, he was no longer just a man. He was a legend. The people loved him. The Senate feared him. They ordered him to surrender command, disband his army, return alone. Caesar refused. 49 BCE, he reached the Rubicon River, a line that could never be uncrossed, and Caesar crossed it. Civil war began. Another man stood against him, Pompey the Great, once Rome's hero, chosen by the Senate. Rome split in two. Army against army. Brother against brother. In 48 BCE, at Pharsalus, Caesar struck. Pompey fled to Egypt, begging for safety. But Egypt chose betrayal. Pompey was murdered. His head was delivered to Caesar. They expected gratitude. They received shock. Rome was his. Caesar became dictator for life. He reformed the calendar. He rebuilt the city. He fed the poor. To the people, he became more than a ruler. He became a god. But the Senate panicked. They feared a king. They feared a throne. So they chose betrayal. March 15th, 44 BCE, Caesar entered the Senate. Petitions surrounded him. Then, daggers flashed. 23 wounds. Blood covered the floor. Then he saw him. Brutus, et tu, Brute, and Caesar fell. They had not saved the Republic. They had destroyed it. Rome exploded. Crowds burned the streets. Civil war returned. And from the ashes, a new ruler rose. Octavian, Caesar's adopted son. Young, brilliant, ruthless, he joined Mark Antony and Lepidus. 3 men, one ruined republic, one coming empire. Power never remains empty. It is always claimed. After Caesar's death, Rome was torn apart. 3 men now ruled the Roman world: Mark Antony, Octavian, and Lepidus. Together they hunted their enemies. Together they crushed the Republic. But power does not like sharing. In the East, another power waited. Cleopatra, Queen of Egypt. More than beauty, more than royalty, she was danger. Antony went east, and Egypt changed him. Cleopatra offered him more than love. She offered him a throne. Rome whispered betrayal. Octavian moved west to east to stop Antony. Rome prepared for war. 31 BCE, at Actium, Rome faced Rome. Ships burned, men drowned. Victory went to Octavian. Antony fled. Cleopatra waited. Defeat followed them. Antony fell on his sword. Cleopatra chose the serpent. Egypt fell silent. Rome stood alone. Octavian returned, not as a hero, but as something else, an emperor. The Senate gave him a new name, Augustus. The Roman Empire was born. Peace followed war. Roads spread. Cities rose. Trade flowed. Law ruled. For 2 centuries, the world slept. Under Rome, power creates monsters. Some ruled with wisdom, others with madness. Names echoed through time: Nero, Caligula, Domitian. Tyrants wrapped in gold. Then, change arrived. Quiet, dangerous. Christianity. Rome tried to crush it. Instead, it spread. Enemies gathered. Walls weakened. Rome aged. Money failed. Armies failed. Trust failed. 476 CE. Rome fell. But Rome never died. It lives in law. It lives in language. It lives in roads. It lives in democracy. The empire ended. Rome remained. Rome was breaking apart. Too large, too divided. Emperors came and went, some by power, most by death. Then came one name, Constantine. Before battle, he saw something, a cross in the sky, a message written in light. In this sign, you will conquer. Constantine painted the cross on shields, on flags, and marched to war. The enemy waited. Maxentius. Rome versus Rome. Steel clashed. Dust rose. Blood flowed. Constantine won. Maxentius drowned. Victory changed him. Constantine embraced Christianity. Persecution ended. Churches rose. Rome had a new god. Then he moved the empire eastward to a new city, Constantinople. Stronger walls, richer trade, safer future. Rome was no longer center. West weakened. East grew powerful. Two empires, one destiny. The barbarians came. Goths, Vandals, Huns. From north, from east, from everywhere. Rome was looted. Broken. A boy sat on the throne. Romulus Augustus. His name carried destiny, but no power. 476 AD, Rome fell. A German general ruled instead. The Western Empire was no more. But in the East, Rome still breathed. The Byzantine Empire lived on. For 1,000 more years. Empires fall. Ideas do not. Rome built the world we live in, and the world still stands on Rome. The East did not fall. It endured. It evolved. Constantinople became the new Rome, golden in wealth, defended by stone, protected by fire. But no empire lives forever. The shadows returned. In 1453, the final attack came. The Ottomans closed in. Cannon against walls, steel against hope. Constantinople fell. The last emperor died fighting. The city went silent. Rome finally ended. But Rome is not dust. It is law. It is language. It is roads. It is government. If you walk through Europe, you walk through Rome. In every statue, in every courtroom, in every city map, Rome teaches one truth. Power fades. Legacy does not. Rome was not built in a day, and it did not die in one either. It lives on. In us. If this story moved you, subscribe our channel, The Static Past, like the video, and share. History lives here. And this is just the beginning.